What's up, guys? We have a brand new show here, a brand new podcast that we're introducing. It's called Crossing the Quantum Edge. It's with myself, JR, and our good friend here, Edge. We're going to have a really in depth conversation about a multitude of different topics. But we're not going to go through all the different topics. We're going to let you guys explore and listen and probably cancel or unsubscribe once we get to the one that you don't like. Today, though, what we're going to talk about in particular is what's going on with EVs, especially with Tesla right now, with the news that just came out about they're canceling a couple of their more expensive models, the Model S and the Model X, and what that means. What do you think? Now I've did the intro and everything. Edge, my man Edge, what do you think is going on? And by the way, welcome to this partnership, this new channel we got.
Well, it's good to be on here, JR. Thanks for having me. I got to tell you, to be honest, I never really saw the Model S or X as a premier luxury car. I felt like it couldn't compete
Hmm.
with European cars, with the build quality, with the features. Even just your American car, Cadillac Escalade, Lincoln Navigator, just not in the same class. Uh, that being said, I know people who have purchased the S on the secondary market and even have been grandfathered into, free charging for life. So you got to ask yourself, am I willing to drive that car if I've got no fuel bill essentially every month? I myself have a long commute. It's all freeway. It's very smooth and easy, but I'm putting those miles on the Porsche. And right now, gas, you know, the US just invaded Venezuela, but I haven't seen any relief at the gas pumps. So it's got me thinking, would it be more beneficial just to grab a Tesla and charge it while I'm at work?
Now,
Would that scenario work for you?
no, but
No.
no. I just certain things I can't do. I just can't do it. No. So you said you don't really consider it as a premium, a luxury brand. Could it be because of do they actually offer like different colored seats and interior, or is it always just like this white or black color? Do you see any burgundies, any beiges, any other colors? Right?
I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the customization available like a Porsche would or some of the British manufacturers. But for me, it just when you close the door, it feels cheap.
Hmm.
It's all plastic and everything's fixated on the screen. And the weight distribution is very different in that car. Model S with the
Hmm.
dual motor and the performance package, going back even as far as 6 years, you're talking almost 800 horsepower and 1,200 pound-feet of torque, which is very difficult to put on the dyno and get an accurate reading. But you're talking about a curb weight of 5,300 pounds from nose to tail and low on the ground. It eats up tires. Those Michelins that run on the Teslas are not cheap.
Mm.
And it's not for performance driving. You're talking about a 265 tread width. And for me, at 5,300 pounds and a car that can go 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds, it just doesn't give me the kind of confidence on the road that a Porsche or an Audi Quattro or a BMW X Drive could.
That's actually a very good point. I'd actually think about that, the tire size and how quickly they wear out because of the curb weight. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, like for me, I'm very much a sensitive and occasion guy. I don't commute right now regularly every day to work. I commute maybe 2, 3 days, and I have my cars, a couple cars to do it. So for me, it's more of a sense of occasion than duty. I can't imagine. Now, I do say this as I am driving home on 75, clutching in and clutching out, and bumper to bumper traffic in the evening. Because in the morning, yes, I leave the house around 9:30, 10 o'clock to make it in 11. I start work really early, and in between meetings, I go in glorious ride in the morning. In the evening, oh my God, it is terrible. And I'm just watching these people in Teslas reading books, like I don't know, playing video games on their phones as their autopilot brings them home. Which, I will give that. That is actually a decent feature, and it is well developed. Not in like my Audi Q7, where if you leave your hands off the wheel for more than I think like 10 seconds, and it's blah, blah, it's telling you everything around. But uh, so I get it from that aspect. I know the Model S was particularly long in the tooth. Like I saw one the other day, it seemed like a newer one. I was like, wow, they're still making these. So then if Tesla's not making the X or the S, And I'm not really familiar with all the models, but they have the Model 3. I think they have the Y.
The Y is the smaller SUV, which actually is the best selling car in the world globally.
What?
And it's the safest car that's ever been tested by the Traffic Safety Board in Europe.
No way.
So what's disappointing about that car is your maximum horsepower is 397 on the performance model, dual motor.
Yeah.
It's good enough for a 3.5 0 to 60. That's still pretty
It's all about
respectable.
360, man. It's 0 to 60, 0 to 60, 0 to 60. It's okay.
Well, hey, with a Tesla, that's the only excitement you're gonna get.
You got to
It's
think Subaru Forester, okay? Just
which is a
people.
great car, and that's another conversation for different reasons. Also a Boxer, as we're
Yeah,
partial to the
yeah, yeah.
Boxer engine on this channel. Um,
I'm
I
not.
think I think a big reason, yeah, I
I'm,
think a big reason also that Tesla had to pull the plug on these two models is just they've gotten too expensive. They are long in the tooth. I don't see a lot of Model X's on the road. Those doors are a problem. And really a big market that they had like Porsche was China, and China's car makers are putting out incredible product that we don't have any access to, and they're affordable.
so I saw the numbers, and it was mainly because of how much trouble Porsche is in now. They were betting on their Chinese market. I don't know if this is the actual accurate numbers, but it went something like Porsche was at a point $4.04 billion in profit per year, and because of their investment in EVs, which kind of failed, seriously terrible range on mileage. Oh, let's make a performance car and let's make it an EV at the same. This it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It wants to be fast and everything, and then so they went from 4.04 billion profits down to like $40 million in profits. Now, we want to fact check that and make sure, but a lot of that, I mean, that would seem like it's over. But there was a lot of things due to the rising prices of the vehicles. No one really buying a base 911 anymore. All these other things were contributing factors to them losing out. And I gotta say, I was a little bit skeptical about the Chinese brands, but I've been seeing some 1,000 horsepower four seaters that look
Mhm.
kind of like a Panamera mixed with it's like kind of like Toyota-ish Panamera, like but it's not a bad thing. It's not actually a bad thing. You look at it and you go like, oh well, that hip might not be exactly wide enough, but then you look at it again, you're like, oh no no no, it all makes sense. I mean, it's a big deal. It's China's flexing their muscles here. They're
I was
confident.
looking the other day at used Taycan prices, and I don't even want to misquote, but it was astonishing to see the rapid. I mean, those things they've lost 65% of their value in 3 years,
It's a
and
glorified golf cart, 198-mile range on its best day. Like,
yeah,
oh,
it's a
I can't even
disappointment.
make it from Tampa to Miami without having to sit down and do a charge. Like, they rush it to market. I think they definitely rush it to market because I think that they were looking at Tesla here in the United States. They're also looking at like some of the mandates and stuff that the U.S. government was passing as far as EVs, and they thought they had an opportunity to really grab a hold. And it like again, you don't. It's when you think about it, it's really a hard thing to imagine a Porsche EV. Like, how does that ever make sense, right?
I'll be honest, when that Mission E came out before the
Yeah,
Taycan in white with the black five-spoke
yeah,
wheels,
yeah.
they did the cool security guard commercial at the Porsche Museum in Germany. I was like, okay, I could get down with that. And being a 911 driver at the time, there was probably no temptation for me to drop a 911 just to go buy that. The 911 is such a distinct and unique driving experience, and there's no other car like it on the road. But I think my message to Porsche would be like, let Elon do EV, but there again, Elon just canceled half of his lineup in one day, you know. And also, I mean, I don't know how Porsche works with the lease on the electric car, but Elon, those leases are like 10,000 miles maximum. And a lot of people drive more than that, so the lease isn't an option. And a lot of people want to do the lease because of they own a business or they can travel, they can write it off. So you're kind of not getting the benefit. A coworker of mine who's in IT bought a 2016 Model S at 80,000 miles. It was grandfathered in for Tesla supercharging for life, no cost. It looked like a wrap. I said, "Oh, is this a wrap?" And he said, "No, that's paint." And I walked out and looked at it, and I felt like I needed a tetanus shot just after putting my hand on it, and just looked inside, and it really did look a little long in the tooth, but I understand it as a pure commuter car. I said, "So what's your expense to operate this car?"
Mm,
He said, "Zero
yeah.
in 20,000 miles. Not a penny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a penny."
No
And I
oil
thought,
changes, no spark plugs, no scheduled maintenance. I
no
mean, just
timing belt. You're just
tires
doing
and brakes.
washer belt, brakes, tires, wipers. That's it. Windshield wiper fluid.
So,
That's
so,
it.
so now you see the stupidity of Porsche to get involved in EVs, right? Because an EV is not made for a car enthusiast, technically.
Correct.
And then on top of it, okay, so what's the mentality of most EV drivers? It's number one for it to be cheap for them to operate, good for the economy, right?
Good for the environment.
Good for the, I mean, sorry, that's what I meant. Good for the environment and
Economical.
and economical. They're not really focused on speed or anything. So it's everything against what poor. Like, there's nothing there that oh, a Porsche owner is going to say, or somebody that desires a Porsche is like, oh, but the EV makes it makes no sense. Like they're
There's yes, there's no driving experience appeal other than a blisteringly fast 0 to 60. And quite frankly, I think that creates a major safety hazard on the road,
Mm,
particularly in South Florida where people don't know how to drive. And I just don't think anybody has any business in a car that can go 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds without a shift in a car that you've learned to trust 100% in a full autopilot or full self-driving mode,
yeah.
FSD. And I think that you're baking in a recipe for disaster. Not only that, we've seen in the past when these Teslas get in an accident and your
Mm,
fire rescue crew responds, their water hose doesn't put out fires
yeah.
on these Teslas. They just burn, they smoke. And let's not forget about when the FSD or autopilot, has a glitch and you have to override the computer, which is supposed to override for you.
So yeah, and that's another interesting point because okay, you had this car tremendously fast, but the laws of physics are the laws of physics. As you approach a curve or or embankment or anything, like, you don't even really know how to steer and at what speed because first of all, you've been using the auto drive or the autopilot most of the time, and so your reflection, your not yeah your not your reflection. What's the term I'm thinking of?
Reflexes.
Reflexes, yeah, reflexes. Your reflexes aren't quite as quick. And then on top of it, you're just not used to driving the car. And so, yeah, how fast is too fast? When does it become a public safety issue? Especially for these type of cars that can do all these things for people that don't even like to drive in the first place or don't even really know how to drive in the first place.
They have zero experience on the track. They've never been trained. And their mindset is not to attack the road and twists and turns with technique and skill in
Yeah.
order to improve their theoretical lap time around
It's just
a track. Exactly.
listen,
um,
full Mustang, full Mustang. Oh,
Mustang 50 is always going to be the most expensive car to insure. There's just no doubt about it.
I'm
It's
gonna put the pedal to the floor from a dead stop and turn, and not think
yes.
about contact patch or any, like traction or anything. Like, we're just gonna full send
When you
it.
pull the e-brake first too, because you saw it in Grand Theft Auto. Um, that's a problem, and the insurance doesn't reflect that. A performance model Tesla, as far as I know, is
No,
not insured at a cost with the premium
it's
to
not a
reflect
Hellcat.
1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, it's not priced like a Hellcat. It is
It's
for sure.
not. It certainly isn't. And they go off statistics about accidents and ticket citations, all these things. But I think those cars, you might need to get a special license for that car,
Oh,
or they need to operate in a mode that locks some of the performance up, and then you need to go prove that you can handle the car. This is coming from a law enforcement background,
Hmm.
and a guy that now I'm a hyper miler because I like to listen to content, make content while I commute, and if I can get 30% better gas mileage by driving the speed limit on cruise control with 44 psi in my tires and my Porsche SUV, I'm gonna do it because what's a few minutes to me, getting to work when I can go get there more efficiently and have more time to myself to think about these things I need to ponder.
Does your Porsche have the lane, not the lane, but the radar cruise at all?
No.
Because I have this theory, right? It's like, so my wife's Q7, it's like a 17. It has the radar adaptive cruise. You can set your distances. But like, have you ever noticed, like, maybe not when you're hyper cruising, but when you're driving, like everybody in the fast lane doing barely over the speed limit, and then nobody even conscious or even thinking about it. It's like, listen, the fast lane's for passing, but see, they all have the radar cruise set up, and there's one sole person in front, and no one's
Yep.
paying attention. So there's like a stack of 6, 7 cars, and then you create a safety hazard because now the people that really want to pass go over to the right and pass on the right with incoming traffic. Right? It's
Mhm.
so funny that we get so many people get pulled over for speeding, but we never, it's against the law in Florida, especially to ride the fast lane. But you hardly ever see a car pull anybody over for doing either under the speed limit or at the speed limit in the fast lane.
Yes. I've yet to see it. Um, I really only see law enforcement active running speed traps
Yep.
with the lidar gun. I don't see them out and about in traffic. Um, and they should be because we've got some drivers who are overconfident and underskilled and underexperienced. And I mean, it feels like a halfway between a destruction derby and an Indianapolis 500 race.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, in Dade County. And I don't know. So, back to these EVs. I think for me, the pinnacle of the EV right now would probably be the Lucid Air Sapphire,
Okay.
1,250 horsepower. You know, the styling. I'm a bit of an
Throwback.
oddball when it
It's a
comes to
little bit
styling.
throwback. It's a not its own design, which I actually like. I like it
Sure,
when everything does, like it has a couple weird angles. I think we're both kind of Saab guys a little bit too. So
I'm a former Saab owner. Had a
yeah,
9.5 Arrow. I like the kind of the George Jetson look of
yep.
the Lucid. It's to me, it's got way more soul and vibe than a Tesla, and it may
Oh
not
yeah.
be as overall good looking as a Taycan because the Taycan is probably the best looking electric
Nah,
car.
no, hold on.
No,
The Audi e-tron
okay,
GT. This
e-tron GT, which is the same car,
is the
just
same
different
car.
shell, same car. And a good buddy of mine who's also a 911 owner over on the West Coast, he bought an e-tron GT brand new.
Hmm.
I think he put 3,000 miles on it in 2 years. The car had no heat, wouldn't
Hmm.
start. Audi couldn't fix it, refused to fix it. They ended up having to get an attorney and sue Audi of North America. They ended up getting all their money back,
Ooh.
but this car was just a disaster. And of course, they wanted to lowball him and just give him, trade in value, which the car depreciated
No.
massively in 2 years because it's electric and they can't even fix them.
Well, you
So,
gotta understand this is no thing. It's a quad. It's like you see how wide the tires are in the back of that and the Taycan. Like that goes against efficiency. That's why you don't have any
yes.
mileage because you got all this centrifugal weight carrying yourself around. Because
Yeah.
EVs are supposed to have tiny tires. You're supposed to commit fully. Like if Porsche or Audi were going to make an EV car, I know you want to make it look all mean and mad, but just commit to the EV idea and make it the best EV. Don't make it this Frankenstein of a solution for a car. Super
It's
electric,
the
super
yeah,
heavy.
it's the push pull of efficiency versus performance. The other problem with all these other EV makers is they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the
Mm-mm.
Tesla supercharger system network, which you don't even get anymore if you buy a new Tesla. You don't even get the
What?
tax break anymore,
No, they
right?
got rid of it.
So,
Yeah.
oh, we'll price that in. Are you? I went in. test drove a Model Y and spoke to the gal, and I don't know. I just now they come without leather, and it feels very cheap on the inside
Like
without
when
leather.
BMW went to that pleatherish kind of stuff.
Worse than that, this
Oh,
is like airplane upholstery. You know?
oh no, oh no. I
Yeah,
think Volvo, I tried to do that for a second and had to punt the ball and go back. They like had that jean material or something like that. Like,
denim. Yeah,
yeah,
I.
but
I'm,
we do realize leather is just a stupid American thing. The Germans never use leather, even. They like, oh no, like all the old Mercedes and stuff like that, the
oh,
Germans, they're like,
MB Tex. Yes, the
they're
finest
like,
material ever made.
yeah, they're like leather. Oh, that's something for stupid Americans that think the car is expensive by
My
doing it.
first my first vehicle was an MB Tex interior. It was either bamboo or palomino color. I can't remember which one it was.
Uh-huh.
But that was a 124 Mercedes,
Yeah.
and it was a diesel, and it was the only year of the six-cylinder turbo. It was 87.
Mm. Mm.
That thing just bucked like a mule when it shifted, you know? I mean, I just
Yeah, my 400E, I had a 92 400E. I had the same issue. There's like these like rods underneath and they're like controlled by vacuums. It's underneath the
uh-huh.
hood, up next to the firewall, that you
Okay.
can adjust. And as you adjust them, don't ask me which way because I was just figuring out the way to make it left.
Yes.
To like go
Yeah.
left to the top. You can adjust them, and it changes the vacuum to make it a little bit smoother.
But did that impact your door locks? Because the door locks were also vacuum actuated in that car.
I don't think I ever locked the doors.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, it was nice, but it was borderline hoopty. It was
Yeah.
just a step above hoopty level.
That car was probably 80% of a 500E, and if you did the differential swap, because it came factory with a 2.24 rear
Uh,
end ratio,
yeah,
which was nearly actually it was taller than the
yeah.
the diesel model I had.
Oh, super.
And the 300E came with a 3.07 LSD. If you put in the 327 gear ratio
Uh-huh.
limited slip differential from the TE model, the wagon, the estate,
Uh-huh.
um, that car was that car could move.
I
That
mean, it's
4.2.
it's still good. It's 6.8060. Yeah, 660 guy. I mean, that's good for back in the day. But my thing was, I remember one day I was in Michigan and I was riding, and I don't know what happened, but these guys got pissed off and I was exiting. And as I was passing them, they like tried to get close to the car and like brush, ride past me really close. And I just got pissed. Maybe it was a bad day, and I just jumped back on, and they were trying to run, and this thing was like, "Arr, arr." I mean, it was like, I mean, imagine this is probably 2000, 14, 15, something like that. I had that car. It would do all. It did every bit of 140 miles per hour like that. It just typical Mercedes style. It just, I mean,
Oh
did not
yeah,
slow down. And there's a
just keeps
difference.
pulling.
There's a
Yeah.
difference in Mercedes engines. I have a couple big engine Mercedes, as opposed to some Porsches, some other things like Porsche will be really like quick in the beginning and it goes and it gets there, but it gets there kind of like an Audi-ish faster type of way. There's nothing like an AMG or like a real like 5.5, 4. It's not the quickest here. It doesn't move, but it's just linear. It just goes. The
I
torque
was
band
gonna
is
say
so straight
it's a
all the way
linear
through.
acceleration curve, and it feels like it's getting stronger as the car speeds up,
Yes,
instead of other cars getting weaker.
yes, yes, exactly.
And but I mean, I had a 211 E500 with the big 5 liter
Uh-huh.
V8 out of the S class. First year of the 7 speed transmission,
Yep,
the
Gear
Geartronic,
Tonic. I had that. Yep.
horrible transmission.
Hey,
Nothing. Probably the worst overall car I've ever owned.
oh,
Just
what year was that again?
2004.
Oh, was that the
So
first year?
second, that was second year of the 211.
Okay, okay.
First year of the 7 speed with the 5 liter from the S class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Black on black. I had some AMG replicas on it. Had the factory bows. I think I bought the car 35,000 miles and I made it maybe 8,000 miles in a year, maybe 6,000 miles only. All kinds of problems. Just, oh, the air suspension. The thing leaked in the sunroof. It had a leak, and just to get the headliner off was 22 hours of labor. 22 hours of labor to remove the headliner in that car. In the factory Mercedes
No,
manual.
this doesn't make sense because I think it's '08. I had a '08 CLF
Okay.
550. So I had this.
Yep.
I
Different chassis.
Yeah, but I had the same transmission. I think because I had this.
Yes.
Yep, and then I had the 5.5 liter. That,
5.4.
what do you mean?
They called it a 550, but it was a 5.4. Germans are always mislabeling their cars.
Yeah. That's a little.
BMW. Because that engine was an NA version
Uh,
of the E55.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
And
in
actually, in the
majority.
210, that was the AMG motor. It was an NA 5.4. Now, I don't know if yours was hand built like that 210
No,
was,
no,
the
no, 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 no,
99 to '02.
no, no, no.
Beautiful car. I would drive one of those or a CLK 55 in a cab.
The car never gave me a single problem. I think only thing that happened with it was the window regulator broke once on the driver's side, and I replaced it. I did the recabling myself. That's and I mean the car was great. I didn't have the only reason why I got rid of it was because I had to start driving further for work, and I was in
Mhm.
Michigan, and two-wheel drive with those big wide tires on the back, it just wasn't cutting it in snow. So I went ahead and went
Huh.
over to Audi, got an
Yeah.
A7. But
Okay. Good
yeah,
looking car.
yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about I swore off from Mercedes for a while, right? I really did because it just got too gimmicky for a little bit there, and now I'm starting to look at them again. Yes, it's a little gimmicky still, but as an option, I just think that you know,
I think from a classic car perspective, um, I'm really not interested in anything more exotic than a BMW or a Mercedes. And I want to go back to my high school
say
years.
BMW. We talked about this. What do you
I would.
mean?
Man, a straight six with a manual transmission.
Yeah, and how often is it going to work? And how many hours? Which BMW are we talking about?
Oh, I don't know, an E39 or an E34 5 Series, through the 90s.
You mean after they switched from the box style? So like after '96 or pre '95?
I'd go 89 to 95 with the E34.
Okay. I'll let
Eight,
you rock.
80s BMWs, and all you got to do is swap in an M3 motor, from something that got wrecked in the.
I just can't. I'm just not affiliated with the brand anymore. I can't do it.
Okay.
Personally, me, it's
Seeing the owners in Miami was a little off-putting.
the
You
four
got these
locals
guys,
at the
they're on their
yeah.
their G20 chassis, their F whatever chassis, and they're all running E85 on a 3-liter twin turbo six that they've been making for 20 years now. And it's not okay, it's the same engine as the M3, but you're just putting a tune and you're taking it like way beyond what it's designed for.
Right.
Do you have forged pistons in there? Do you have different O-rings? I mean, like that car is not meant to be driven around at 700 horsepower. And by the way, when you put your car on E85, it's really like 100 and something octane equivalent, and you're getting terrible gas mileage. You're probably taking a car that's easily 20, 25 miles per gallon on the freeway to like low teens or maybe 10 or 12.
But it's
And
also the mentality of the
for
BMW
what?
driver. I don't see it like a lot of, and I might be wrong. And I might be looking it through my own JR goggles and lenses.
Hmm.
I just don't see a lot of like nicer, older men or guys our age driving BMW.
Gentlemen drivers. Yeah.
Gentlemen drive. I get all the
There's no
guys that are
gentleman
trying to
drivers.
race me from light to light. Like they're always so overly aggressive for no reason at all. Like,
That's always been the car. I remember in the mid '90s, my dad told me there was a joke. What's the difference between a porcupine and a BMW? The pricks on the inside. They used to say it about Porsche, but I think it was more fitting for BMW. After being in the Porsche community for so many years and owning multiple Porsches and being a daily driver of a Porsche now, I think it's just the classiest group of people. It And it doesn't matter if you have uh, a six-figure GT car or if you have an old beat up 996. Everyone's treated fairly with equal equity and opportunity to talk at the group. And for a guy that moved 3,000 miles away and didn't know anybody in South Florida, and by chance, I just happened to meet this group president at a Porsche mechanics garage, and turned out for the first event. And I made a handful of friends that, like yourself, that I'll keep for the rest of my life. And but back to Mercedes. You're talking like I'm telling you, I probably wouldn't even go past the year 2002. I would probably want to get an early AMG, like a C36, a C43, an E55, a CLK 55, and of course the goat for me is the W140 S class
Yeah. Yeah,
with
they
the
aged so
V12.
well. They
You
aged so
know,
well. Like I didn't at first always like the body
double
style,
pane glass.
but in person and
Oh,
like when it's set up right, it's just it's like it's like a it's like a Bentley or a Rolls. It's just so
yes,
like a tank.
overbuilt,
Oh,
so overbuilt, so heavy. And we're talking 400 horsepower out of a 6 liter 12 that was often bored and stroked to 7.3 for Brabus, and that made the SLR, and other companies out there that tuned Mercedes. Rentec was another big one in the 90s. And they went NA and they bored and stroked this 48 valve 6 liter V12. He had a
so
bulletproof 5-speed transmission that later got used in the 911.
so you're bringing out a really point. We're just bringing it back full term. There's never going to be 15 or 20 years from now that we're going to talk about EVs this way. There's no way that you could talk about, oh, well, my EV has so many kilowatts, and let me tell you about how I. it will never happen. Like you can't like all the variations in engines, right? That we like that you're discussing. We're talking about different transmissions, different engines. Like you can't customize EVs performance wise like that. I mean, maybe one day you can change out the battery for a better battery system, but like it's just no way to customize it, and that's what's endearing. And then on top of it, I don't know if I like things that always just always work. There's nothing like if you don't have if it doesn't break down or do something kind of weird right every once in a while, you can appreciate it when it when it runs perfectly. You know,
You're taking the hobby out of it,
taking the hobby
right?
out of it.
And there's no enthusiasm. So it's really the EVs are just for nerds, or people who
I'm a
don't
nerd though. I
really
mean,
care about cars. But it's a nerd in a different way. You can
okay.
be a nerd about sports or history or auto racing. I mean, I love Formula One, and I've been watching it since before Netflix made a series. And in the last couple of years, and since the first American track went in Texas, you get all these new fanboys coming into it, and you get a series that's not focused on driving skill. It's just focused on the drama from the drivers and the teams and their personal lives. And I've been watching since 2004 when I lived in Europe, and there was no NFL, no NBA, and I didn't care about soccer. So I got
2004.
into Formula One, and back then you had a lot more uh, teams that were completely independent. BMW had a
Yep.
team, Ferrari had a team. Mercedes didn't have their own team yet, but they were supplying to McLaren, and they were a very strong team, very formidable. Renault had 100% owned team, and the V10s. Oh my gosh! I mean,
So
music
I
to
was a
my
little
ear.
earlier than you. I think maybe 2000. So mine goes back to Pablo Montoya against Michael Schumacher.
Juan Pablo,
Yeah,
yes,
Juan Pablo, and he was the only one that was not scared of Michael Schumacher one bit. And that Williams BMW was faster than the Ferrari on the street. It had reliability issues. That was the only issue. That
top end at what?
top
Yes,
end, I mean, it'll come down the straight doing 245 miles per hour. Ferrari's like 237, couldn't even keep up. And
yeah,
Pablo was just like this big bully, like ready. He was ready for the challenge. Hot blooded guy. And it was
aggressive
cool.
driver.
It was cool because you saw the clinical side of Marcus Schumacher. Like he would go down, there would be situations that would happen. He'd come back and just every lap he's shaving off time, and then you could just see that pent up. It was one of the greatest battles I think that I watched in Formula One was against those two. That's what made me fall in love. And of course, for a
Okay.
while I got away from it. And now I'm back into it. I'm interested for this season coming up from all the changes that they're doing to the cars. Finally, I mean the things were like 20, like 35 feet long boats. I mean, you know,
Couldn't pass.
you
You
couldn't
couldn't
pass.
pass.
God.
Yeah, these tracks were designed back in the 50s, like Monaco and in Belgium with Eau Rouge, and you don't there's nowhere to pass on the track. And
Yeah.
even with the DRS, it doesn't work. And you know these guys kind of tend to get like soccer players where they overreact.
Yeah.
It's like they know we're listening, and so they're going to get upset on the comms. And but I'm very excited for Audi to come in. I'm excited for
Yes. Yes.
Cadillac
Yeah. I don't
coming in with
know.
Ferrari
Doesn't
engines.
Cadillac have the budget? I'm just like Cadillac.
Man, that's it. Cadillac's been very successful at 24-hour racing throughout Europe and North America over the
But do
years.
they? I mean, do they sell it? Their EV, big $400,000 car, whatever that thing is called. They're saying, I mean, where do they have money from? Just
Well, my neighbor just got a new EV Escalade. It's a beautiful rig. And it's got a full self drive. It's got the autopilot.
what's his range? Did you ask him?
No,
Okay.
but if it was a gas Escalade, I wouldn't ask him what his gas mileage is because I know it's still
Well,
low teens.
it's just a thing of I got to get gas. Okay, go somewhere 3 minutes full. Bye, and then I put goes to an EV where you're like,
Okay, I
oh,
get
I'm
it.
traveling with the family. Like, do I really have to sit here for 45 minutes and then get 80%? I was just interested.
No, they're not. They're not made for road trips, and they're not made for a spirited drive. They're made for someone who needs to commute every day. Imagine this. Oh, the range is only 250. Okay, well, I work 60 miles away. All right. Well, that means you have to charge every other day. Well, here's how I'm going to approach that. I'm going to come home from work and plug in the charger. I'm going to let it go
Yep.
all night. Now, one thing that's nice, that Model Y and the Model 3 come with the charger, and all you have to do is plug it into your car and plug it into your three-prong outlet. It can be 110.
Yep.
It doesn't need to be 240. And uh, it takes about 12 hours to do a full charge. I can live with that. I get home at 5:30, I plug it in, I leave at 6 a.m. the next day. My car is fully charged. I can go to work and with an extension cord, plug my car in, and let it charge while I'm at work for 8 hours.
Okay, I got it. But I'm gonna. Okay, I'll get back to the. Okay, did you ask your
Practicality.
neighbor why did he buy it though? Like, why did he choose it?
He he had an S class, like maybe an S560 4MATIC.
Uh-huh.
Not very efficient, expensive to work on, parts not available.
Okay, so
We
that's why. Okay, okay. Because
sure. I'm
not saving on gas because if you buy an Escalade, you don't have money. You don't have money, gas money problems. Okay, so it's not like
true.
no. Okay, Model 3 and Y. Okay, kind of, but the Y is kind of a little expensive too. And like,
No, it's not. It's $39,000, brand new. That's single motor, no leather, and it can't be ultra red. It's got to be one of the other colors, and some ugly wheels. But you're still getting a big trunk, a big frunk, lots of space, and you got your fancy sky view roof, and you know it's just swipe to drive. That's it. For
okay,
someone who's like plugged into computers, and they don't have room to be a gearhead or be an F1 fan, something like that. I think these cars work. Also, they are economical, especially if you're buying one that's depreciated.
yeah,
I would hate to have to put in a new battery pack because, like Model S, for example. Okay, well, I bought a 10-year-old Model S. It was 140,000 brand new. Actually, they didn't have the performance model quite yet. Let's say they were 75,000 brand new in
Yeah.
2016, which would be a lot more today. And they've depreciated down to $15,000 maybe right now.
Yeah.
But you're getting free electricity at the superchargers. And I know people that drive about 500 miles
Yeah, they got
per
range.
week, per
Uh-huh.
week, per week. That's what they need to drive for their commute. Okay, you do that 4 weeks a month. What do you spend on electricity? It's about $50. So you're spending $50 where it would take you maybe $400 or $500 for a vehicle that gets 25 to 30 miles per gallon. And you're not making a payment because $15,000 you're probably paying cash for that car.
Yeah. I mean,
The leases are a great deal. And here's the thing, they're very safe. These are for people who don't know how to drive. Okay. And the base models are not 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. They don't rip your
no.
face off.
Yeah, like, no, you don't need to be 4 seconds.
Some of them are like, I think they're, low fives or
Yeah.
high fours,
But it's
which
still quick enough. It's still, I
for us,
mean,
it's faster than the AMGs we're lusting after in,
well, I'll be honest with
the
you.
'90s.
I was driving my 84 944 the other day and like felt like I was carving it up, right? Because it felt so fast. And I like paused the video and like went from when I was at 0 to when I hit 60, and it was just like a tick under 10 seconds, right? But I had all the fun in the world. Like so my
You
concept
get to
of
keep your foot down to the floorboard, for so much longer.
and you get to experience every shift. You get to see that needle go on the red line. There's no
Why, JR? Why?
yeah. There's no like red line. It's just like oh man, in there. And then I'm doing that way because the 944 that one has a
Yeah, that
little.
car's
so
transaxle, transverse, upside down,
I mean,
top up headlights. It's a quirky car.
yeah. To be honest with you, I enjoy the slow cars more because I get to like ring it out in like 3 or 4 gears, and I'm not
Mhm.
crazy. I'm not
You're
doing
not getting
anything crazy.
arrested.
Right.
Yeah.
911, like third gear is 110 miles per hour, and it's like, first of all, you look douchey doing it. I mean, incredibly douchey. Like you're just, oh, coming off a light in the 911 going fast. Oh, of course, this douchebag. I just, there's a thing, right? It's like, oh, of course. But besides that point, uh, it's just a little bit like, and that car is not the fastest car anymore. It's a 9971 Cura S. It's and it's a cab. It's not the fast, but it's still.
And auto.
Listen. I like my tip. Okay, I don't care what no one says. You're supposed to have an automatic in a convertible. I don't care, and I like my convertible, so it's like what it is. I'm
Hey
just
man, you
saying.
do you. You do
Yeah,
you.
yeah. It's we just talked about that. If it's compromised, it's compromised. If you're gonna have an EV, you're gonna have small tires. It's just a fact of life that don't if you're gonna have a convertible, you're gonna have an automatic. Don't put a stick shift in the convertible. It's already compromised. The structural rigidity of the car isn't there. It's a cruiser.
Yeah, it's to put your wife in it and put the kids in the
Right,
child seats in the
right,
back.
right.
Yeah.
Listen to music, put your hand out, do the wave, to the air, you know.
No,
I
it's nice, man. I get it. Like, being in Florida, summertime, it's dark outside. That's the best time to have the top down. You're going fast enough that the mosquitoes don't get you, but it's not cold out. And it's just so peaceful being out in nature, looking up, seeing all the stars.
Yep,
And it takes me back to my, younger years on vacation in California, out in the desert. And it's
yep.
just, if you're fortunate enough to live somewhere
It's
where the
warm.
weather is nice, year round, you owe it to yourself to own a convertible.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, yeah. So, but back to the subject. Yeah, I just don't feel like fast is everything. Maybe even the sensation of feeling spirited and fun is also a thing. So yeah, I have definitely gone away from being the horsepower hunter, and that way because I just there's always going to be somebody faster than you no matter what. And then number
yeah.
two, I just I love the sound of the 911 at about like 6,100 RPMs up to like 7.5 where it red lines, right? Love that sound. Can never be there most of the time. Because
Yeah,
that's
you're on the
way too
Vario
fast.
cam. You're
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah,
Vario cam at
yeah,
that
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't live there. Every time I drive to work, if I drive down, I know I'm going to speed. I get in that car and I literally say, "Jr. Today we're going to put on Little River Band.
Hmm.
We're going to drive into work nice and easy." But then it's like somebody does something, something happens, and next thing you know, I'm just like, "Oh, 9/11 time."
Yeah. I
It's a
mean, the
problem.
drivers in South Florida can be an influence because when you're in a 911 in South Florida, you are always being challenged.
Yes.
Always being challenged. Everybody, every Mustang driver, every
They're like,
BMW
"Ooh!"
driver.
You can literally see them when they look in their rearview mirror, or like when they see you pedal, they go like this. Ooh! Like, let me start hitting the M button and this.
Yeah.
Here we go. Right there.
VTEC kicking in, yo. Yeah. Although my second Porsche was a Panamera GTS, and
I
that
like that car a lot.
that car never got challenged. No one knew what it was. You
No,
know,
no,
those
no.
those things
I
did
agree.
not sell well. They would hear it, and then I was gone before
I
they
feel like
knew what
all
went
of them,
by.
like the super cool, like four-door sport, like the Rapide. What was it? Aston Martin Rapide.
Aston Martin
Like,
Rapide, yeah,
like
the Quattroporte.
Quattroporte, they don't. It's again, what are we doing here? We're making a luxury, so it's supposed to be comfortable and quiet, and have a big enough back seat to be chauffeured around in. Like it's just like you know,
Yeah, but the M5 or the E-Class AMG, I still love those cars too. The original AMG Hammer, that was an
yeah,
incredible car, 6-liter V8, hand built. I think the
yeah,
Audi S8. I've never been an Audi A6 or S6 fan. Just the lines, they never get
yeah.
it
It's
right.
the back, and
They
it's a little
always
bit
messed up
small
that
sometimes.
back window and the
Yeah,
back bumper,
yeah.
but the A8's always been beautiful.
I got a buddy
Um,
next door. He's trying to sell his. He's got some really nice rims on it too, like some really like East European
uh-huh.
funk, big block look on it. Like he's got like all the bells and whistles, everything now, and it's super nice. You know,
Yeah,
but
those D3 and up
yeah,
generations chassis, they've got some major air suspension commitments. A
yeah,
cool car is the D3 Audi S8, which has the naturally aspirated
yeah,
5 5-liter V10 or 5.2 V10
yeah.
from the Lamborghini,
The
from the
yeah,
Gallardo.
yeah, yeah. The S8. Yep, yep, yep,
It's stroked from the Gallardo,
yep.
and it's detuned and the
Yeah.
red line's not as high, but that car comes, well, the Gallardo had equal length headers on it, which gives it more of that Ferrari flat plane crankshaft sound. I don't know if the S8 has a flat plane or a cross plane
Are we
crankshaft.
talking
I
about?
think it might have a cross plane, but the difference between like the Gallardo and the Huracan has a bigger 5.2
Yeah.
V10, but it has unequal length headers, which gives it that strange burble,
Mm-hmm.
just like the VW 5-cylinder engine where they took the VR6,
Yep.
where it's a V bank but one head, and chopped off one cylinder,
Yep.
and it got that strange 5-cylinder burble, and you got two
Yep.
that just sounds like it's fighting each other.
I miss that
Every
sound. Our Cayenne
Just
was
like
like
the
that.
voodoo, just like yes, that's that VR6 noise.
I
But
love it. I miss it so that it just had this very sound, and now like I could hear my wife, like
Mhm.
probably 5 or 6 houses before she got to our house. I could hear the VR6 motor,
I
and
think it's
now
so cool that Porsche retained that from Volkswagen
yeah,
on that chassis. And that's a very underrated car. 3.6,
yep,
300 horsepower. And you know what? Every Porsche guy at the Porsche meet would ask you, does that have a V6 or what kind of engine is that? It's like, no, it's a VR6.
yeah.
And it was designed to be mounted transversely in front wheel drive
Oh, yeah, that's
Volkswagen
right.
so
It
they could
was.
fit it
Yeah,
and get that nice weight distribution across the front axle. And but it had the short hood, and so they couldn't run a 6-cylinder this way.
yeah,
There wasn't enough room. And so you're basically getting an inline six, but a little bit. better emissions and efficiency with the V design, but
Yep.
still one head. And very cool motor, very
I
cool.
I
And
miss it.
Fab speed exhaust on that car sounds incredible, almost like a Formula One car.
I mean,
And
you got to think about it. Like, I think it was the second early, like the second gens, or like I think it was.
958,
Yeah, I
yes,
think it was like their best engine platform because I heard people with the V8s and they've had a lot of suspension problems, a lot of other issues they had with the
the
V8.
air suspension,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Well,
which
I
I have a
think
feeling
those,
about is
yeah,
is
I think those 4.8 V8s. I had one in my GTS Panamera. Motor's pretty bulletproof. Um, and in the Cayenne, you're not dealing with a PDK, so there's no $26,000 what if.
yeah,
You're getting a ZF transmission that's bulletproof.
which
And
is
if you can pick
fine.
up,
I
if
like
you
a
can,
torque converter. It's okay. It's okay.
it's very smooth from the
Yes,
start.
it's okay. That's
The
fine.
PDK, my Panamera weighed 4,400 pounds, and it started in second gear, and it would feather the clutch in the PDK. It's not a very smooth takeoff. It sounds like the car's struggling, or I don't know how to drive.
Oh, it started the PDK in second gear also?
It always, unless you're in Sport Plus.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Porsche thing, and actually it's a Mercedes thing. I don't know who did it first. I know
Mhm.
Porsche took a lot of their automatics from Mercedes at first, but
They did.
they always take the second gear. And then
Second gear start, yeah. The
yeah, the funny thing
300E,
is, in the
the 124.
914, which is manual, is better to start it in second. Like first gear is so problematic, you just kind of go into second and stay there versus going to first, unless you're really trying to do something. So it's like a philosophy. It's probably better
Hmm.
on efficiency, like gas mileage and everything
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Land Cruiser had a second gear start,
Yep.
you know. Um, and that dog leg on your 914 is not for first time stick shift drivers, you know. It's takes some
No,
getting used to.
you know what it is? I finally mastered it. You'd only drive the shifter with these three fingers because you can't grab it ever.
Mhm.
Because if you grab it, you lose feel. These
Hmm.
fingers right here, you can because remember the transmission's all the way in the back, and then the linkage where it enters the transmission is at the very back, like at the very very back. So it's like when you're driving it, it's like you're like channeling like Yoda or something. There's the middle of the gate up to third. There's the middle of the gate. That's there's fifth, or fourth. I'm sorry, I'm doing 944 shift pattern, but yeah, I mean it is a very very don't rush it you cannot slam it. You cannot put it there. You in clutch, middle, up, let go. Like it's a very gentleman's way to drive. The 901 transmission is probably the hardest shifting
Hmm.
transmission I've ever had to use, which makes it also so rewarding. When you no, it really the thing is, hey, made it to fifth without a grind or anything. Look at me. Every time you can get through the shifts, and oh wait, miss, went back. So yeah, because the famous one is I want to go to second, grab fourth. Damn it! So if you can make it through the shift pattern without anything, any event, you just like it's like every time you're like, yeah, I got it. And then you stop and you mess it up the next time, and then you it's a great game. It's a really great game. Um, but shifting, another thing that goes away in the EVs. So yeah,
Yes.
I just don't think so from an investment perspective, or if you're spending money, whatever you spend on an EV, just be ready to just see you later. Whereas if you buy certain maybe unique vehicles and unique configurations, you plan on keeping it. Well, you might go through a dip, but you may actually get some of your money back. It's just that with an EV, as they age, do you want a 2010? When did Tesla make the Model S? Start making it.
16, I think.
Was it that recent? Okay. Do you want the first generation, first off the line Model S for any reason besides it being super cheap? Right.
No, just the access to supercharger,
Right. Right.
free
Right.
charging.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
someone that and I'm not saying for you, but is for a certain purpose, but someone is looking to pay less either at the pump, even with the overall car price, it's not going to pay
Hmm.
you top dollar for your EV that you've been holding on to all this particular time. So I just don't know, and I think that's what the world is starting to self-correct itself on, where they're getting away from the EV technology because honestly, too, we forget about how does the electricity get made that's get put into your car. Bigger question, you know,
Yeah.
there's some things there
Have you
that
seen a lithium mine before? No, you probably haven't. If you saw one, you probably wouldn't buy the car.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, or like the electricity, what how much coal do you have to burn? I mean, this electricity is not being made by wind turbines
No.
and solar panels only. Like, no, the most of it, the majority of it is actually worse. So there is
Yes.
so there is no like enthusiast that's going to want your car later that's going to want to pay you top dollar. There isn't it isn't really helping the environment necessarily. It was just kind of like a fad, a thing to make money.
Yes.
That's all it was the whole time. Because
Was it an improvement on the hybrid?
so I feel differently about the hybrid. I'm down for hybrid technology, I think.
Ooh,
In a certain way,
okay.
because you're using an engine more efficiently, right? So if
Where
I
it's
can cut,
weak.
yeah, if I can cut my cylinders and use some regen and push the car forward when I'm cruising, why not? That makes perfect sense. The biggest thing, and on top of it, electric cars are completely like they're they're not very convenient from the charging perspective. Now, imagine this: I paid $100,000 for my electric uh, Cadillac, if not more, probably $120,000, right? $20,000. Now I need to go fill up my tank. Now I pay for this luxury. I need to now keep going. But now I see the person in Toyota Corolla. I see the person in the RAV4. I see the Nissan Altima. I see all these other cars go into a gas station where I'm parked right next to outside of a Target parking lot. They go in, gas, they leave. I have to sit for 45. It's not premium.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice. I think outside of a long daily commute, I don't really see the purpose of an EV because you lose your ability to do road trips. I mean, oh, let's pull over and then we'll stop for 2 hours.
Hey man, the
I mean,
popular
and not only that, we have to go the wrong way to go charge and then double back. Oh, it's okay. Tesla plotted our whole thing for me. Oh, great. So I have to drive 2,000 miles to go 1,200.
That's not
And
somebody that's not a decision someone with money makes. It's not.
no, it's not. It's
Time
not.
is
People
money,
don't have
man.
time for that. Time is money. Um, I think with the hybrid now, you're seeing it as more of a performance enhancer on the model. Like for example, the Panamera now, the top of the line model, is a V8 twin turbo
Yeah,
hybrid,
yeah,
and does it add a lot of weight?
yeah,
Yes, but you're talking 770 horsepower, and that's almost as much as some of these Tesla dual motor performance, and it's actually more horsepower than the Taycan.
yeah. Ooh, I didn't
And
know
it
that.
sounds it still sounds great. You got a twin turbo V8. They've shrunk it down to 4 liters. If you don't like the hybrid, then you get the GTS model and you get the same engine, which is and it's severely detuned. That the horsepower screw in that car would go a long way with a tune.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
but
so hybrid. So EVs are out. They're gone.
yes, and I know
Uh,
people who have switched from Taycan to Panamera hybrid
mm,
and haven't looked back.
no, that miles range. Yeah,
And that
yeah,
was after like three Tesla P100D, P85D, P120D, maybe a plaid in there. So
they got
um,
bored. There's nothing in there
they
to
did.
enjoy.
They needed to feel the visceral, mechanical, the grind, the engine noise, the the experience, of driving. And anyway, so
We're humans. We have
yes, we're
senses.
primal.
We have
We're
senses
primal.
for a reason, right? We have senses for we need to feel like if we're driving something that it feels fast, that it revs up, that that there's some type of transmission and some type of things that are going on. They play into our emotional senses, which is why partly part of the reason why we buy cars. Other part is we need transportation for work. But the sub factor is also we want to enjoy the time as we're being transported. And so, yeah, that's why that happens. And so, I think it's very interesting and telling to see that Tesla cut those two most expensive models. It also tells you probably the state of our economy, maybe some other
Yes.
factors of things that are going on behind the scenes that our news media doesn't really want to tell us about or want that message to be conveyed across. But to the peering eye, and I think that's some of the things that we're going to get into conversations about. Some more. I'm going to be honest with you, Edge, man. I forgot how much you knew about cars. Just to talk to you right now, like, no, seriously, like I was like, damn, I forgot. Like, now you got me like wanting to sharpen up my skills a little bit and go back. No, because it's great. It's like he's like, oh yeah, with this engine particularly, I'm like, God, man, this guy knows all this stuff. We're a little bit over an hour now. This is good. I think that it's going to be awesome, like the attention to detail that we talk about with cars that will venture off
Mhm.
into multiple different subjects, right? When
Yes.
is the idea. We wanted to at least introduce you guys, as some of you may already know us, not just come out the clear blue, like we are still car guys. But I think that car guys come from like men that pay attention to detail and have appreciation and know certain things that are interested in understanding how things work, right? And it's a transferable skill. That's what makes us appreciate cars, but that's also what it makes us appreciate information. Not taking things at face value, not looking only at one source for information, digging deeper to figure out what's really going on. And man, I look forward to our conversations moving forward on some of those subjects, bro.
Yes, we can branch off from this and head many different directions.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
look forward to it.
yeah, yeah, man. So, I guess that's a wrap up, or what do you think? Is that good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, cut it. Yeah, yeah, we did good. We're, we're if you guys watch this long, thanks so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave comments. Tell us what type of topics you're interested in discussing. If we have any knowledge on them, we will definitely bring those into the discussion and also educate ourselves in the meantime. And also explain our process of educating ourselves because this channel is really designed to have like a quantum thought process with an edge to it, like just we're thinking things through clearly, and there's an edge where we don't have any of the fluff of social media or any of the fluff of all these other things, but we get right down to the point, understanding where it comes from, right?
Well said.
All right, all right, cut it. All right,
Okay.
bro. Stop the video.